Hi all, welcome everyone. Very warm greetings from Mercy Technologies. So let me straight away go into our agenda for today. Yesterday we thought of solving four problems, but we ended up solving only a single problem. I want to say that the other three problems were interrelated, so that I want to solve those three problems now by taking examples. And one more thing that I want to solve today is a very important interview question. It is merging two sorted arrays. Just a heads up, this question was asked to me in what do you call hiring manager interview in Oracle. I was able to clear that, but I just want to say what was the approach that I followed, and what is the reason that I cleared Oracle interview. Okay, first we'll be completing all three vibrating sound. So what I was saying is we tried to implement four examples yesterday, but we ended up only one. Like all the four are very important interview questions, and now maybe since I tweaked the code yesterday night, so I was able to do that. Maybe let's take more examples now and try to solve the problems. Right? Problem number 1, 2, 3: implementing stack using two queues, implementing stack using one queue, and implement two stacks using a single queue. So this may look different, but almost these are interrelated questions, so we can solve them easily. And then there is a big question that we are going to solve today with the knowledge that we had till now in our data structures and algorithms. So I am taking one question which is merging two sorted arrays, right? This question was asked to me in Oracle in the hiring manager round. This was the only question that was asked, and I had to be hands-on. I was in a video conference, and I had to take this question. I need to write this answer from scratch and show the person an output. And no question was asked. I was selected for Oracle, but now I don't work there. But I just was recalling a history for you. So in that way, we are what do you call we are having the agenda for today in these four items, right? Let me tell you the approach, right? So what is the approach that we are going to take? We are going to solve yesterday also with one example. What we did, we have taken examples and we tried to write the code, and it was working, right? It was working fine, all fine. So we'll take more examples and see that how taking examples can make you write complex code in an easy way. Okay, so now let's go to the implementation and let's see the code. Instead of seeing the code, let me go to my whiteboard, right? Where is my whiteboard? Okay, so yesterday we we were in this particular problem. I was stuck in this problem, right? I was stuck in this problem, rather I'd say. Okay, so this was the one. It was implementing. Let me open up. Okay, it was implement a stack using two queues, right? Implement a stack using two queues. So let me paste it. Yeah. Okay, implementing stack using two queues. So let's straight away take our inputs, and we will be deriving one by one. Okay, so what is my input? What is my input? So my input is two queues, right? For example, let's say I have queue like this, which is q1, and queue like this, which is q2. Okay, these are two queues, and what we have to end up, we need to end up developing a stack, right? So we need to end up developing a stack. Okay, so what happens now? uh, let's we need to end up, we need to implement a stack, right? So indirectly our question says you need to implement two methods, which is push of, let's say, int x, and then one more method which is pop. Okay, so these are the two methods that I need to end up. So I need to write code for this, right? So without any knowledge, so how can I do that? Let me take a few examples. Like, let's say I'm taking example something like this, right? First I'll say push of one, push of of two, and push of three. right? So I'm taking 3 pushes. So which means when I push something, so my insertion would be something like this: 1 and then 2 and then 3. So I told you top would be a variable which is moving, which is incrementing as we insert something into the stack, right? So top gets incremented. So now top is pointing to 3. That's fine. This is how the stack works. But we need to achieve this functionality using 2 queues, right? Using 2 queues. Or I can say, forget about 2 queues or 30 queues, right? We just need to achieve this functionality using a queue, right? So let's try to do. We need to implement push and pop method, right? So let me try to implement push method straight away. So what is my push method saying? Push. What it returns void, okay? And it takes int x, right? It takes int x. So what is my push saying? So let's say I'm pushing something 1, 2, 3. So what I'll do, maybe I'll use this q1 and say q1 dot enqueue of x, right? So straight away, without intuitively, I'm thinking, okay, fine, I'll use a push method which says q1.enqueue. Okay. So with this push method, till now we have taken only three examples, which is push 2, 1, 2, and 3, right? We will be pushing the same. So we'll be enqueuing those 3. So 1, so insertion happens at rear, right? Insertion. So initially there is this front and there is this rear. Front deletion happens, right? And insertion happens at rear. This is a queue example. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3, right? So this is how it is. Now I have pushed all these 3, and using my push code, I pushed everything. I mean, I enqueued all these 3 numbers. Okay. So let's say maybe I'll just put a way forward and say push of 4 again. Okay. Push of 4 again. Okay. So I'm pushing one more element. So which means there is this 4 which got inserted into our stack. Okay. And then there is this 4 which got inserted over here. Now in my example, let's say for the first time I'm saying pop. Okay. So when I say pop, which means I need to remove an element. So which element should I remove? I should be removing an element. I should be removing an element called 4, because this is a stack example. But in our queue, we can remove only element from front, and we can only insert from rear, right? We can only insert from rear. So in that way, we do not have hold of this variable called 4, right? So we do not have hold of variable called 4, but we have to remove it. We have to remove it. How should we remove it? If we maybe think as a human thinks. So what happens is, for example, if I remove this 1, 2, and 3, which means I remove this 1, 2, and 3, and then my pointer points to, which means my index points to 4, and at 4 I can remove it, right? At 4 I can remove it. So which means I need to travel from this particular point until 4, and then I can remove 4. But catch here is, I should not delete. The only way that I can come until this particular number called 4 is by dequeue operation. When you dequeue, you'll be removing this 1, 2, and 3. And you can come to 4, but your intention is not to remove 1, 2, and 3, but to remove 4. So in that way, what you can say is, you can call this dequeue operation, which removes 1 and then 2 and then 3, and you can put all those numbers into q2, right? Q2, right? So let me try to execute the same example. What I'm saying is, I'm saying q1 dot dequeue. When I say dequeue, which means the first element is removed, and a q1 dot dequeue. But where am I putting? I'm putting, so my code would be q2 dot enqueue of q1 dot dequeue. So my q1 dot dequeue is saying, and q2 dot enqueue is coming. And now again, I'm doing the same thing again. 2 is removed and 2 is put to this. 3 is removed and 3 is put to this. Right. So at that particular point, I will be getting hold of this 4, guys. So at that particular point, what I can say is, you can return me this 4. That's it. Simple. So let me try to write the same code here, the pseudo code here. What it says, int pop. Okay. So what is int pop saying? So I need to come until this particular point, right? I need to come until this particular point and say that, you know, what do you call, and say that, and say that you return q1 dot pop. I mean, you return this particular number 4 and put that into q2, right? This simple example, let me try to write that. Okay, what is the one that I can, what is the way that I can write is something like this. Okay, so while q1 dot size is greater than 1. Okay, so what you try to do, you say q2 dot nq of q1 dot dq. Same thing. And fine, what you have to do finally is q1 dot dq. So what you have to do, you should return. So you need to return this, and fine, this is how we can write code for popping out. But I told you we'll be taking examples, and finally we will be achieving, or maybe we'll be concluding if that is correct or not, right? So what is the way that we can do? We can do it in this particular way. Just a second, guys. So we can do it in this particular way. So we have taken this example, we have taken this small code, and fine, we were able to write something like this. Now I'm trying to pop it out again, right? I'm trying to pop it out again. When I say pop, which means I need to, now I have removed what, 4, right? So now I have to remove 3. Okay, now I have to remove 3. So when I have to remove 3, according to my code, what it says, my queue is not having anything right now, because all these elements have been shifted to q2, right? All these elements have been shifted to q2, and the remaining element has been removed, right? This shifting operation is done. But what is this while saying, while q dot size is greater than 1? So it means this will not be executed. And finally it says the q1 is not having anything, so we are not able to dequeue anything. But that is not our actual intention. Our actual intention is, there is still this 3, 2 and 1. These 3 elements are still there, but where are they? They are present in here in q2. So which means at this particular point, you have to do all this operation on q2 and not q1, right? On q2 and not q1, right? So let's say I call pop again. When I call pop again, the same thing will happen. All the elements except this 3 will be moved to q1, and then you have to do the same operation on q1. And when you call pop again, you have to do all the operation on q2, which means every time you call pop, what happens is all the elements from one queue are being shifted to the other queue. And when you call next, all the elements from the other queue are getting shifted to the previous queue. The shifting operation is happening, guys. So because of this shifting operation, what I want to say is, every time I call pop, okay, every time I call pop, I want to do something like this. So I want to remove this. Okay, I don't want to return straight away. The one that I want to do over here is, I want to swap these two. After I execute my logic in pop, I want to swap these two queues, which means the same thing, right? With our example, we have to, after our pop, all our elements are getting shifted to the previous queue, and next time it's getting shifted to the previous queue, and all. So what I say is, maybe I'll take a variable called temp. Temp is equal to what I'm saying, q1. So I'll say q1 is equal to q2, and now I say q2 is equal to temp, right? So after I do this, I can return q1 dot dq. Simple. So only thing is, after writing this while loop, this is the only one that I've written. So what is this? I've taken a temp and I just swapped these two, q1 and q2. The reason why I'm doing all this drama is, I came to know that every time when I do a pop, I should be doing my operations on q2, because doing that again on q1 will not result anything, because q1 might be empty by that particular time. So again, if we want to do, do this enqueue operation, so you can well straight away do that. And then when you want to call this pop operations consecutively, you can straight away do that using this simple code, right? This is how we have to start writing the code, guys. And maybe I'll show that code to you straight away in our Eclipse so that it becomes easier for you. So what is that? Okay. Yes. So here you see my stack using two queues, right? I have implemented a stack using two queues. What I did, I've taken these two queues and I'm naming them, instead of naming them in Q1 and Q2, what am I trying to do is I'm naming them as Q, my Q insert and my Q delete. So these are the two things. Push method is straight away, and it is an intuitive example. We are straight away saying .enqueue. But pop method, in the pop method, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to execute this while, right? After this while is gone, after this while is done, so what am I trying to do? I'm trying to q1 dot, I mean q2 dot enqueue of q1 dot dequeue, the same thing that I did in this while loop. And finally, what am I trying to do is in this particular logic, the same thing. I've taken a variable called temp and I swapped both, right? When I swap both, which means my life becomes easier because of the example that we did, because we came to know that for every pop, we need to swap everything. We need to swap both the queues so that it becomes easier for us. I mean, it's not easier one, it's a mandatory one. So it means I've written something like this. So and my pop also works, right? It's simple, guys. So at this particular point, I want to say that our actual intention or motto is not just writing the code, but we need to even handle the base cases, right? But handling base cases, if you see, I've taken this myQ array. myQ array is something that we have written previously, I think 2 classes before. So what is my myQ array saying? myQ array is taking something like this, and we are taking care of all our conditions. Like if it's empty, what we are trying to do, and if it's full, what we are trying to do, and if it's like getting the length, what we are trying to do, etc., etc. So all these things, all the base conditions we have already taken care while we were implementing this array, right? So that's why by using our array which we have implemented, so we were able to implement this methods called push and pop. Okay, so here what I want to say is, maybe I'll show you where is our lead code for this, right? There is this lead code example, guys. One second, maybe I'll go to my problem description. So what is my problem description saying here? Let me remove everything, or maybe I'll say this is our problem description. Let me remove this also. Okay, so here what I want to say is the problem description would be something given something like this in lead code. It's not like in HackerRank. Okay, so in lead code it's given like this. What they want us to do is they want us to write logic in our push method, they want us to write logic in our pop method, and even maybe they want us to write logic in our top method, right? And they have this one more thing called is empty. So these things, this is empty, we have already implemented. So that's why like my my array or something we have already implemented in our Eclipse code, right? This is our what is this, myQ array, right? We have already implemented this is empty method, so we need not do it straight away or explicitly over here. Okay, and then how to get the top element? We already are maintaining a number called top, right, in our implementation. So that's why we need not explicitly do that again. So again, they want us to write logic for push and pop. We just saw that. Okay, they have a constructor. Maybe we need to initialize that. What I'm saying is this is how the example is given to you in lead code. You just need to take all your implementation and put the logic over here. Just like yesterday we saw the same thing. Okay, we just need to take that and put our implementation logic here. And when you run the code, it should be in a position to run in a proper way. Okay, I'm not doing it straight away for you guys. It's a explicit move for me. It's an intentional one. You just need to take the code that we have written. You need to put it here, and maybe you can run it and say that it is working fine. Maybe you can post screenshots in our WhatsApp groups, right? So at this particular point, guys, uh, we are able to solve this thing, right? What is that? We are able to solve our actual problem. So what is that? Our actual problem is to implement a stack using two queues. I want to just ask guys, by taking this small examples, okay, by taking this small, sorry guys, I think I paused the recording. Let me repeat once more. Our actual problem now is implementing a stack using one queue. Okay, implement a stack using one queue. So what is our implementation logic? Or maybe by seeing the problem statement, we need to take an example, right? So what is the example that we need to take? We need to implement a stack. Stack is S1. Using what? Using queue. Our input would be queue and our implementation would be stack, right? So in the implementation, so we need to implement two methods, push and pop, because these are the two important methods in a stack. Okay, so we need to implement these by using a queue, right? By using a queue. So again, I'll take examples. Maybe I'll take examples something like this: push of 1, and then push of 2, push of 3, right? Something like this. So push of 1, 2, 3. So let's say I'm doing something like this: 1, 2, and 3, right? So we need to use queue for our implementation. And now let's say straight away I told you the what you call enqueuing logic, or maybe the pushing logic, we need to use it something like this, right? What is that? Push of int x. When I say push of int x, I can say this is a void method, right? So it's not returning anything. So what I can say is, I can straight away say q1 dot enqueue of, what is that? X. So you can straight away say q1.enqueue of x. So we have done with the implementation of push method. So what is our push method saying? Our push method is enqueuing the element, the same element, into this queue, right? So by taking this example and executing this code, what we'll try to do is, maybe we'll try to do something like this, right? So the same thing, we have done our push method implementation, and what we are trying to do is we are trying to put all these elements into this queue. Now with this understanding, what I'm trying to do is, let's say I'm doing one more thing, which is pop. Now at this particular point, I'm saying pop. When I say pop, my 3 should be coming out, right? 3 should be coming out. But how is 3 coming out? Because we are implementing using a queue, and let's say our front is something like this and rear is something like this, right? We have a hold of the number called 3, but we cannot delete it, because deletion happens only at front, right? Deletion happens only at front. But we do not have one more queue also to take that as a temporary storage, etc., etc. So when we think the problem in this way, we need to, so it's like we need to get hold of this number, this pointer or this index called rear, but we do not have a one more queue also. So what I will do is I can straight away do one thing. I can remove it from this front, and where do I insert? I will insert in the same queue, right? When I say q1 dot dq, which means I'm removing this one, and now when I say q1 dot nq, so it will be coming here, right? It will be coming here because my rear is here. Again, I say the same thing, q1 dot nq of q1 dot dq, right? When I say q1 dot dq, which means 2 is coming out, and 2 we are inserting over here, right? 2 we are inserting over here. We do the same thing. So we do the same thing. So we will be doing that until which particular point? We will be doing this until this particular point, right? Until this particular point. So what is this until this particular point? For example, in our initial logic, our size is, let's say, 3. So we need to come until this particular point called 3. Until when? Until the length is less than, for example, if the length is 3, we need to come until 2, right? Until 2 elements. Let's say the length is 10, we need to come until 9. We need to traverse until 9, and we need to do the same thing which we are doing. So let me try to implement that as part of my logic here. So what I say, so I'm saying something like int, maybe I'll take a different color, right? Int pop. Okay, so what am I trying to do? Maybe I'll say something like this: q, maybe I'll take element called size, right? So let's say int size is equal to, for example, let's say q1 dot size. Okay, so while size, or maybe I can say this as count instead of saying size, while count is greater than 1, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to do something like this: q dot dq, or maybe nq of q dot dq, something like this. Okay, I'm doing that only until this count, and I'm saying count minus minus. So I'm saying count minus minus. So we'll be iterating over this loop until the size minus 1 times, and then what we are trying to return, q dot dq. Simple. Using a single q, we were able to dq. And how we are able to dq? Just by taking small examples. And this is the code that we have written. What is this code saying? I'm getting the size, and you're just having this logic of iterating until the count is greater than 1, and you're trying to return the same thing. Simple. So now you are able to implement a stack using a single queue, guys. But let me show you the example straight away. What is my example saying? My example saying something like this. What is that? Yeah, stack using a single queue. This is my example that I've written. So what I've taken one original queue. Okay, my push logic is so simple. And my pop logic would be something like this. I'm taking the size of it. While size is greater than 1, I'm trying to q1.nq of q1.dq, and I'm decrementing size, and I'm returning q1.dq. So simple, right? This is also very simple, very limited lines of code, guys. The only thing is, like, you need to think it in that way. And how will that thinking come? That thinking will come only by taking examples. Here I did not do anything great. I just took example. This is my input, this is my input. So maybe I'll straight away implement a method called push. Okay, from this particular point, what is my next step? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? You probe questions to yourself, and finally you will be ending up in code something like this. When you take this code and try to implement that in HackerRank, or try to implement that in LeetCode or something, you should be in a position to actually understand, and you will be in a position to, pass all your test cases like a charm, right? So I just want to ask you guys, are you able to understand this particular logic? Right? So what am I trying to do? I've taken this code, I have pasted it over here. I've taken an example of size is equal to 5. I'm doing q1.nq of q1.dq, right? So here, what am I saying? While size is greater than 1, my size is what? Size is 5 now, right? And size is 5 now. I'm trying to do something like this. So as we increment in our loop, as we increment in our while loop, what happens is, at a particular point, we are saying size minus minus, which means at a particular point, size will become 4, and my pointer will be pointing to, uh, in 0, my pointer will be pointing here, and my size is 4, maybe my pointer will be moving forward, and a particular point where size is equal to 1, because we are doing this decrement operation, right? We are doing this decrement operation. When we are trying to do this decrement operation, so our iteration also will go forward, and finally it will point to 5. It will be pointing to 5. It will be pointing to 5. So now we have the hold of this particular number called 5. But by doing this, what we are trying to do as part of our first step, we are removing this 1 and putting it over here. We are removing this 2, putting it over here, right? We are removing this 3 and putting it over here, 4 and putting it over here. So what happens is, we are doing all these things. And finally we are getting hold of this particular number called 5. This is what we have been doing, guys. So this is how our logic also works. Let me check if somebody has messaged. Okay, good Tanmay. So that's fine. Good that you have understood. We have 15 solid minutes, guys. We will try to solve our next question now. Okay, we will try to solve our next question. So this is a simple code. This is a simple code that we have written. So where is our code? Maybe well, when you write the code, or maybe when you develop something, when you try to run this in HackerRank and all, what happens is maybe you need to take the size and you need to put it over, I think, at the top, or maybe you need to take it as static, etc. This all happens to you when you're trying to implement the logic one by one, right? But the intention, what I want to say is, my intention is to iterate from 0 until the size minus 1 times and then return, so that it this shifting operation will happen, right? So I told you what is our next thing that we are going to learn today. The thing is, let me show. So what we are trying to learn today, we are trying to learn something like this. So in our agenda, we told that we will be covering one thing, which is merging two sorted arrays, right? Merging two sorted arrays is a very important interview question, right? There is a different way of asking this. They want, maybe interviewers ask you to implement the code for merging two sorted linked list also. But let's try to take examples and try to make sure that we are writing this code in a proper way. Okay, I've already written that code, guys, but I don't want to show that to you right now. Maybe I'll try to delete, or maybe I'll take a backup of the one that I've written. What is that? Merge two sorted arrays. Maybe I'll take all this and I will maybe take a backup for that. So what is it? Notepad plus plus. Here it is. Okay. So here, what we are trying to do is we are trying to uh, implement something which is called merging two sorted arrays. Let me go to whiteboard and show you what is the examples that we are going to take and how we can write code, start writing code for this. So what is that? For example, we have two arrays, something like this. So I told you one more thing, guys. This was a interview question that was asked to me in Oracle, and the hiring manager hired me only because I was able to answer this question in a proper time and space complexity manner, right? Maybe you can do it even in a better way, but this is my approach, right? Taking examples. First one, let's say there are two arrays. What he said, the problem statement would be something looking like this. There is a method called merge. Okay, there is a method called merge, and this merge method is expecting two parameters. What is that? Integer array. For example, let's say I'm saying ARR1, and then one more integer array, which is ARR2, right? These are the two. This is how the method is expecting the parameters, and what it should return an integer array, right? I need to write some logic in this method so that whenever I'm giving an integer array of ARR1 and ARR2, I need to merge both, and I should return a result array, something like this. For example, let's say I take example something like this. Okay, ARR1 is equal to, let's say 1, 2, right? I'm saying only 2, and let's say ARR2 is equal to something like this, 3 and 4. Right? So when I write something like this, what happens is my result, for example, let's say I'm saying result is an array. Okay, result is an array. So maybe I'm not trying to do this. Screen paused. Guys, is this the same for everyone? Fine. So what we are trying to do, we have taken this method called merge. We are taking ARR1 and ARR2 as our inputs, and we need to return an integer array. Okay. So let's try to take examples and solve step by step. Okay. So what is ARR1 is saying? ARR1 is saying 1, 2 as their input and 3, 4 as their input. Finally, what we are trying to do is we are trying to build one more array, which is result array. What is this result array saying? Result array finally should be having output something like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Because how we say that result array is having 1, 2, 3, 4? Result array 1, here the important points is sorted arrays. I told you the problem statement, I need to merge two sorted arrays, right? This array 1 is sorted because 1 is less than 2, it is sorted in ascending way. And now array 2 is also sorted, 3 and 4. But that doesn't mean the combination of ARR1 and ARR2 are sorted. Here we need to make sure that the elements from 1, 2, 3, 4 should be present in ARR1 and ARR2 should be present in result array. And how are they to be present? They are to be present even in a sorted way only, right? In our simple example, what we try to do is 1, 2, and 3, 4. We are trying to say that in the result array, we are having the following numbers, right? We are in the result array, we are having the following numbers. But this looks very simple, guys. Let's try to solve it step by step. Okay, first way of doing it is to list the base cases. Okay, base cases. So these are the base cases. What happens when array one dot size is equal to 0? Then what happens? Then what happens is array 2 will be the actual result array, because array 1 has nothing to do and array 2 is already sorted as per the problem statement. So which means you are saying your result would be ARR2. Now let's say ARR 2 dot size is equal to 0. Then what is your result? Your result would be ARR 1, right? ARR2 and ARR1. So this is intuitive. This is what we can conclude. But what happens when both this ARR1 and ARR2, both these are empty? What happens? You need to return an array which is an empty array, because your input itself is empty. So you need to return something which is empty. Let's try to write code until this point, guys. Okay. So what is the code that we have written? We have written something like this. So what is the method that's given? Maybe I'll try to write static merge. What is my merge trying to do? Merge is a method that was given to me in the interview. What is my merge trying to do? It is taking two input arrays. What is that? Integer array of ARR1 and integer array of ARR2, right? These are the two arrays that I've taken, right? Two arrays that I've taken. So let me try to write base cases one by one. So what is my base case one? Base case one. What is my base case one saying? If both the elements or both the arrays are empty, right? Array 1 dot, or maybe length is equal to 0, and array 2 dot length is equal to 0. So in this case, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to return an empty array. But before that, what we said, maybe we need to take an example, something like this, an integer array. I'm trying to say it as result array, right? Result. And I'm saying, so what should be the size of this? I can do something like this. So what is the size of this? The size of this would obviously be array 1 dot length plus array 2 dot length, right? Array 2 dot length, something like this. So we have initialized this result array, and what we are trying to do is, since this case is positive now, the base case one is positive now, I'm trying to return something like this. Fine. Now again, what we have to do is, if this is not the case, what I can say, else if what I say, ARR1 dot length is equal to 0, right? Else if ARR1 dot length is equal to 0, in this case, what happens? In this case, it happens to be, you need to return ARR2, right? Something like this. Now, even this is not also the case. So you need to do something like this. Else if, so you can do something like this, which says ARR2 dot length is equal to 0. In this case, what we are trying to return? You're trying to return ARR1, right? This is the same thing. Guys, you can turn off your video. I think maybe it got turned on. Okay, what we try to do is, we have taken base case 1. Now this is our base case 2. So what is our base case 2 saying? This is our base case 2. This is our base case 2. And now we have one more base case, which is base case 3, something like this. We have taken 3 base cases. Whatever we discussed till now, we try to implement, right? So now all these 3 cases are not possible. Like, let's say we got a valid input. Now we have to move forward and try to write even more code so that, you know, it moves forward. So let me go back to our whiteboard and let's try to build up our logic. What is my logic saying? So what is my logic saying? My logic is saying something like this, right? Let's say I have some input ARR1 and ARR2, and I try to input something like this. So here, let me take 2 examples so that we can build up our logic right now. So what is my 2 examples? ARR1 is equal to 1, 2, and ARR2 is equal to 3, 4. This is one set. Maybe I'll take one more set. ARR1 is equal to, maybe I'll say 2, 4, and ARR2 is equal to 1, 3. Right? This is also sorted. This is also valid examples, right? ARR1 is sorted, ARR2 is sorted. Here also ARR1 is sorted, ARR2 is sorted, because this is less. And we need to merge these two. When I try to merge these two, so we'll be taking something like this, right? We deal with indexes in arrays, right? What I'm trying to do is for ARR1, maybe I'm trying to deal with index of I. For ARR2, maybe I'm trying to deal with index of J. For result, so what am I trying to do? Maybe I'm trying to deal with index of K. So these are the 3 indexes that I'm trying to write. This is my assumption again. So what we try to do is, for example, just let's try to think in a human, how our human brain thinks. What happens? First, let's say we need to merge these two, array1 and array2. What we'll try to do is, obviously we need to compare this one with the other elements, so that, you know, we need to check if this is less or where should we place this one, right? So what happens is we compare this one. We need not compare this 1 with 2 because it's already less than 2. Okay, so this is ruled out. So we need to compare this 1 with the elements 3 and 4. We need not compare with 4. The reason is 3 is even less than 4. So which means when we compare 1 and 3, we feel 1 is less, right? We feel 1 is less. So that's why maybe we'll take a result array something like this and say we are comparing 1 and 3. We are thinking 1 is less. So that's why I'm putting 1 here. So which means this comparison is done. So 1 is done now. So what should I do? My index is something I, right? What should I do is I should say I plus plus. When I say I plus plus, my I will point out to this particular, the next number, which is 2, right? Next number, which is 2, which means I need to just increment my index. Okay, I've done that in this case. I incremented, maybe I'll increment this I. And then one more thing that I want to do is I want to take this number and put that in our result array. And then what happens is we are having result, K is our index, right? Even K also increments, right? I should say after every comparison based on your calculation, you should or maybe increment. You should increment what? Increment corresponding indexes. Index. So what happens? I'm trying to compare 1 and with the other with ARR2, and I'm saying this 1 is less. So that's why I take this 1 and put that in the result array. But at this particular point, what I should do is I should increment corresponding index, which means I need to increment I, and then I need to increment K, because in the result also we have done that. Now, if we move forward in the same example, what we try to do is we try to now compare 2 with ARR2, right? 2 with with the elements of ARR2. So we are comparing 2 with 3. Again, 2 is the one, right? Again, 2 is the one which is less. So again, what we have to do is, this is our comparison logic test, and eventually we should be printing 3 and we should be printing 4, right? Now, maybe I'll try to run the same example with our second, the same thing with our second example. So what is this? Maybe I'll say a result array is coming something like this. So what is coming something like this? So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to compare 2 and 1. I'm comparing 2 and 1. I came to know that the element in ARR2, 1 is less. So which means I need to put 1 over here. So here, instead of incrementing I need to increment J because J is corresponding to ARR2, right? So here again, 1 is gone. Now incremented J, so J will be pointing to 3. So what will happen is, again, you'll be comparing 2 and 3, 2 and 3. So what happens, 2 is less, right? So now what will happen, you will be putting 2 over here and incrementing I, right? You are incrementing I. So again, what will happen? So similarly, there should be 3 and there should be 4 eventually. Something like this, guys. So just by understanding this small logic, maybe we'll try to implement the same thing over here. What happens is, I will take int I comma j comma k, right? These are 3 pointers that I'm taking, and maybe I'm saying I is equal to j is equal to k is equal to 0. I'm initializing all these 3 to 0, right? I'm initializing all these 3 to 0. When I initialize all these 3 to 0, I should do something like this. If no, I should do something like this. So what is the one, guys? So we have done something like this. If ARR of I, once again, ARR of I is less than ARR of J, right? So when you say that ARR of I is less than ARR of J, what is this saying? Doesn't have, once again. Oh, okay. So ARR of 1, maybe I missed this. ARR of 1 is less than ARR of 2, which means I need to take something like this. Result of K is equal to what? ARR 1 of I, right? ARR of 1 of I, something like this I'm trying to do. Okay, so here what I will do is, I told you we'll be incrementing the pointers which we intend, right? So I'll say I plus plus, right? And I'm doing K plus plus, right? Simple. This is one thing. So the same thing, maybe I'll try to do even in one more way. Else if, so what we should do, the opposite is correct, right? ARR, the opposite of this is correct. So which means in our second example, we have taken this case, right? So we have taken this case in our second example. Let's say this is greater, right? This is greater. So now what will happen is, result of K will happen something like this. It should be ARR2 of J, right? ARR2 of J, something like this. The same thing, we have taken that in the example also. We are taking the same thing in the example also. And what am I trying to do? I'm trying to increment J plus plus, and I'm trying to increment K, which is K plus plus, right? K plus plus. Same thing. We have done something like this. Very good, guys. So we have to do all this. So this is our heartful operation, right? This is the operation that we have done. So by taking this example, but until when you have to do all these operations? Until when you have to do all these operations? You have to do until either this ARR of 1 completes or ARR of 2 completes. For example, let's say we have 2 arrays, and one array we tried comparing every element. So then there is no point of comparing the next elements in the array, right? Because they are already sorted. Since you are done with the comparison of all the elements in array, so what will I do is, I'll try to write some while loop, something like this. What is my while saying? While ARR 1 dot length, or maybe I'll say ARR, something like this. Okay, once again. So what is that? Here our logic we need to do is, we need to write our while loop until a particular point. What is that until a particular point? Until a particular point will be something looking something like this, guys. I is less than ARR 1 dot length. Sorry, I think ARR 1 dot length. And one more thing is, J is less than ARR 2 dot length, something like this. So until this condition satisfies, we need to do all these operations, right? We need to do all these operations until this condition satisfied, and that's fine. We'll be doing, right? This is how simple it is, guys. This is how simple it is. So we are almost done with our coding because we have taken both the cases into our consideration. Now let me try to take a main method and try to see how this goes. Maybe I'll copy the one that we have already taken into consideration. So what is this main method saying? The main method is saying something like this. Okay, the main method is saying something like this. This is our main method. I'm just taking my main method. What is my main method saying? Main method is taking two examples, which is array1 and array2. Array1 and array2, it's trying to merge both the things, right? It's trying to merge both the things. So here I'm trying to return my result array. This is one more thing that I need to do. So I need to return result. Something like this. This is the code that I've written. So what is this one saying? Undefined for merge two sorted arrays. That is undefined. Return type. Okay, fine. I think we need to return integer array. Okay, something like this. So now my main method is complete. What is my main method saying? Or maybe I'll take only examples until this particular point. Okay, what is my main method saying? My main method is saying that there are two arrays, which is arr1 and arr2, and I'm trying to merge both arr1 and arr2 using the logic that I've written over now. And I'm trying to print something, right? I'm trying to print something like this. Let's try to run this and see that if we are able to get line 15. This is missing. Okay. Cool, thank you. So let me try to run this code. So what is my code saying now? My code is saying something like this. That's fine. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 8 is missing. Oh, 8 is missing, right? So what should we do with this 8? Maybe we missed some case, right? We missed some case. Let me try to take one more example, something like this. 10, 20, 30, right? We were able to merge the array, that's fine, but we were missing this number called 8. Let me try to run this and show you what happens right now. So what happens right now is we were only able to merge until this 7, right? And all the other numbers 0 0 0 0. So what is the 0 0 0 0? We should be getting 8 10 20 30, right? 8 10 20 30, but we are getting 0 0 0 0. So it means we need to understand one thing, guys. We need to understand one thing. The thing is, we were able to merge until this while loop has been executed, this condition has been executed, and all the others which were left out are coming to be 0. Okay, maybe I'll try to do one thing. What I'll try to do is maybe I'll try to debug one thing. Let's say I'm trying to debug this. So what is this debug saying? It will be stopping before I return, right? It will be stopping before I return. So what is my this thing saying? Right. So I is equal to 4 and j is equal to 3. I is equal to 4 and j is equal to 3, right? And k is equal to 7. So these are the indexes. I is equal to 4 and j is equal to 3, right? These are the indexes, but the actual thing is our the calculation of this array, it came to number called 4. So that's why this while loop is breaking, and after that it is not trying to capture this 8 10 20 and 30, right? 8 10 20 and 30. So with this, guys, what I want to say is we have done almost our coding, but we missed one base case. So what is that base case saying? After your while loop gets executed, there is some part of array which is missing. So we need to attach this some part of array also. So how do we do it? Maybe I'll try to copy that with the one that I have already written. So what is that saying? While I is less than arr1 dot length or j is less than arr2 dot length, what you're trying to do is you're trying to take the remaining part of the array and you're trying to assign that to result. You're trying to take the remaining part of the array and you're trying to assign that to result. Simple. So here what you did, maybe our j is left out until this particular number. In our case, in the debug case, it is only 3. So
what am I saying? If it is still less, right? I'm trying to do the same thing over here. If it is still less, so what you try to do is you take all the remaining ones and try to assign that to result. Same thing, maybe let me try to run this now. I'm trying to run this, and finally the output should be working like charm, right? We are able to solve this question. We are able to solve this question just by taking example, guys. Just by taking examples. We are taking examples and we are able to solve this question. But see, I've written this while loop in a verbose way. I mean, what I want to say is, like, I've written so much of code for this, so much of code. So maybe I think you'll be learning about a ternary operator, a ternary operator inside Java. So we can just remove all this extra bit of code just by using ternary operator, guys. Maybe I'll show that to you. So this is a ternary operator. The whole length of lines, the lines that I've written from if condition to and else if, I'm able to do that only by the single line. So maybe I'll try to run this also. This I've written the code in a little bit more concise way. Okay. So yes, I'm able to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the examples that I've taken. So here, what am I trying to do is I'm trying to assign k plus plus. I'm trying to assign the value of k. I'm trying to see ARR of I is less than ARR of j. Then I say you assign this value to ARR of I plus plus, or else you assign this value to ARR of j plus plus. The same thing that we have done by using more code. I just wrote this because you will understand that. But once you get familiar with this kind of logics and all, you can use this ternary operator so that your code becomes very less and your code becomes very clean, right? This is how we solve the problems, guys. This is how we solve the interview problems. There'll be a similar flavor of problem which is called as sort or merge to sorted linked lists, right? Merge to sorted linked list. You can try that also because it also has a similar logic. Maybe you need to do using linked list operations, right? You need to use linked list operations for that. So with this point, guys, I just want to ask if you are able to understand the code that we have written by taking examples. So with this particular point, guys, we started solving interview questions in stacks, queues. Now we have sorted an interview question in array, right? The similar kind of a question is there in linked list also. We will be trying to see, we will be taking more interview questions which are even more interesting kind of. But the thing that the expectation from me is you take all this and try to practice in HackerRank or LeetCode, and make yourself more familiar so that this kind of questions will be answered in a very easy way, right? In a very easy way. So one second.